Hi, welcome back to the second hour of this Wednesday edition of Focal Point on AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name, congenial, convivial, and amiable as always. The program is Focal Point, the home of muscular Christianity on Conservative Talk Radio, and you are listening to the American Family Radio Talk Network. Let's grab a call from Margaret to start the second hour out in Grants Pass, Oregon. Margaret, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind? Thanks for calling and thanks for waiting.
Hi, Brian. Thank you. I listen to the show daily, and I really just can't get enough of it.
Thank you very much.
Last time I called was when the election was going on between Mitt Romney and Obama, and I had stated to you at that time that I could not vote for Romney because of his policies and his convictions, the way he played them out in legislature. He is on board, I don't know if you've heard yet, but he is on board to convince Jan Brewer to veto the bill.
Yes, he and John
McCain. Catalyst for the gay marriage approval in Massachusetts when he was governor there. I really believe I stand strong. I told you at the time that I couldn't vote for him, and everybody was against me, and my church and everybody. Then Obama's going to be elected. But in my heart, I could not put the same kind of man in office because I'm hold it accountable to God. Mm-hmm. I truly hope that Ms. Brewer is going to hold strong to her convictions, that she's going to hold strong to give the people what they voted for, give them and hear their voices in this, and in fact hear God's voice in that going on. So,
well, Margaret, let me have you hang on. I want to discuss this with you for a little bit because I hear exactly what you're saying, and I will guarantee you, Margaret, if the Republican Party, you're just speaking for a lot of other people just like yourself, social conservatives, people of faith, we are tired of having to hold our noses to vote for the lesser of two evils. I think those days are gone. And I will guarantee you, if the Republican Party does not put forward a genuinely conservative candidate, not just fiscally, but socially in 2016, people like you, and I don't think by 2016, Margaret, I'm telling you, I don't think anybody's going to be able to blame you and others like you for just saying, look, I'm just going to stay home. The Republican Party is supposed to stand for conservative values. They are not giving me anybody that I can vote for. And let me just make one other observation, then I'll give you the last word. Look at Massachusetts. They have the highest health care costs in the nation. Why? Because of ObamaCare. So Mitt Romney did in Massachusetts what Obama is doing to the entire country, and that was the candidate the Republican Party gave us in 2012. And you're exactly right, Margaret. Mitt Romney is the godfather of same-sex marriage in the United States. A lot of people don't understand this, but in 2003, when the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Council, their version of the Supreme Court, when they ruled that the marriage law in Massachusetts, which goes back to the days of John Adams, that it was unconstitutional, they gave the legislature 180 days to come up with a new law that would normalize same-sex marriage. The legislature didn't do it. So there is no law. If you go today to the Massachusetts Law Code, same-sex marriage is still against the law. So what Mitt Romney did without any justification whatsoever, he just imposed same-sex marriage on the state of Massachusetts by judicial fiat. And he threatened county clerks. He said to county clerks, if you do not issue licenses to same-sex couples, you will be fired. This is despite the fact that the Massachusetts Code is very, very clear. County clerks, I read it myself, county clerks are prohibited by law from giving a license, a marriage license, to anybody except in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth. It doesn't say except in accordance with the wishes of the governor or except in accordance with the ruling of the Supreme Judicial Council. It said in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth. And so Mitt Romney was saying to these county clerks, if you do not break the law, it's your job. I'm going to fire you if you have the temerity to obey the law. So, Margaret, you're exactly right, both on the issue of health care and on the issue of same-sex marriage. Mitt Romney, I don't know what word to use. He was just like this kind of poisonous thing that kind of that slipped into the body politic in Massachusetts, and that was the first place where you had same-sex marriage, and now it's spreading like a toxin.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to stay home if they don't. I think it's too late for the Republican establishment to give us a true conservative, because we saw that. We've seen that with so many elections. We saw it with Romney loud and clear. And they're going to give us more of the same. They might give us Obama light, because I truly, Brian, don't believe there are two parties anymore. I believe there are remnants. I believe that there are men and women in our government that are good people, honest people, Christians, and they want to do the right thing by this country and by the people. But I believe that they have so little power now that there's not a voice for us in our government right now. I believe it's one party. It's one party ruled by the same people.
Well, and after the in the 2012 election cycle, this is back in September, October, I was interviewed by some media types in connection with the Romney campaign and how lackluster it was on issues like marriage and sanctity of life. And I said, look, if and he was the candidate by then, there wasn't anything could be done about that. I said, if Mitt Romney loses this election, the Republican Party will disintegrate, because social conservatives have just about had it up to here with a party that will not give them genuinely conservative candidates. And I said, this party is not going to survive. If Romney loses, the Republican Party will not survive. That's a prediction I made back then. And I hear people like you, Margaret, talking about the fact that, there's just a lot of people just about done with the Republican Party, and they will vote for a candidate that maybe doesn't have a realistic chance to win, but at least represents their values, so they feel that they're casting a vote in good conscience for a candidate that represents their values. And I've got a story in the stack. I never had a chance to get to it, but about a third party in the United Kingdom. And it came into existence in about 1995, so it's been out there a long time. It's taken 17, 18, 19 years for that third party, a conservative party, and it grew up because there were so many people in the UK that were disaffected with both the Labour Party and the Tories. Neither one of those parties, the Tories supposed to be the Conservative Party, they weren't. So they formed a third party, and now after 19 years of kind of faithfully staying with the task, they're now at a place where they're a decisive player in the politics of the United Kingdom. So it may be something like that has to happen. I don't know. I'm not advocating for that. That's something that have to happen organically anyway. Anyway, Margaret, I got about 30 seconds. Last word. Anything else you want to add?
Just want to say that the Republican establishment isn't going to be hearing from me, but God will be hearing from me. God's going to hear my voice. I will vote. I will make my feet take me in the place that I know for 100% certain that he would want me to support that person. That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Margaret. I appreciate the call very, very much. So Margaret, kind of an early adopter, said, look, I'm just not going to be able to vote for Governor Romney, and I think in retrospect pretty hard now to criticize that decision. And again, that's liable to be a decision that we'll have to make again in 2016 if things go the way they seem to be going. Conservatives are probably not going to be given a standard bearer in the Republican Party that's really going to stand without apology for their values, unless it's someone like a Rick Perry or a Ted Cruz. Rand Paul's is problematic on some of our major issues. And he, according to some of the latest political pundits, is the leading candidate. We'll have to see how that all plays out. Focal Point and AFR Talk will be back with Richard Ford of the Heritage Alliance. Stay with us.